morning, good morning. Open the window here. We need a different view on the street, you know, just left or right, left or right. We need more cameras all over the building. It's too bad. It's also too bad our stream starts at 8 in the morning in Japan. You know, it's the best time we've got for my work schedule and for a reasonable amount of people to see this. But that's the time when Asakusa is at its quietest. It's too bad, you know. But then again, if it was too busy, all you would see is knees and backsides. So there. Look at this conversation. Okay, good morning, guys. Okay, we're going to pick up exactly where I left off yesterday, Thursday. It's carving the first of the color blocks for the first print of the next year's series. What you're seeing here is not really what the print will look like. The birds, which here are in print, will actually be not transparent. What's the word? We're going to do the birds in the final print with something like this. They will be white paper with just embossed lines. But for the moment, to try and figure out where the color blocks go, we've printed them temporarily. Okay, the schedule this morning is carving quietly on this block. We're probably going to get through the knife work, I guess, and we'll be moving ahead. We'll probably be doing some persuading here this morning. It's been quite some time since we've done that. And I have Chantal at the end. We have something interesting. Actually, I've got an embarrassment of riches. There's 3 different things that I could choose from to show today. And I wonder, I should also show you a link to a bunch of prints. The show and tell that got away. There was an auction, or it would be a week ago, I guess, a bit more over a week ago. A guy had some things on some old Senshafta prints. And I really, really would have liked them for 2 reasons. It was because they're so beautifully made, very nice prints. But also the theme of the prints themselves would have been something interesting for us to use here perhaps at Mokuhankan. But the price went too high and I wasn't able to justify picking it up. So. My mother here, she's shocked by hearing the word gents. and ladies. Okay. It's part of that same thing, I guess. We end up using this word, hi guys, and stuff like that. And I don't know, in the sense of a stream like this, I think, or a YouTube video, people always say the same thing. Hi guys, today we're going to do such and such and such and such, you know. I think guys sort of now has morphed a bit, isn't it? It technically, I guess it's males, but I think the expression hi guys seems to mean now everything. I don't know. I try and avoid that one, but I use it sometimes. It slips out, but I try and avoid that. On YouTube, it's such a cliche, isn't it? You know, the video opens and, hi guys, today we're going to do such and such, you know. So I hope I never get that cliched on the videos. Actually, there was a funny, speaking about YouTube videos and cliches, you know, there was a funny, I guess I can share this to show, it was a comment on one of the YouTube videos that came in last night. And I suppose I can share this. It's okay, it's just for fun. It's not such a serious comment, but it made me laugh. It really, really made me laugh. Let's see if I can find it here. Hang on a sec. The last video we did, the one about the Tokaido series to show. And the video turned out to be, it should have been 55 minutes long, but it turned out to be, what, 52 minutes long or something, whatever. So, but somebody saw it last night. Somebody saw it, and he sent in this comment. And this made me laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh. I shouldn't be showing this because he's praising me. So I shouldn't be showing something about, you know, wow, look how good Dave is and something. But it's the point of view that's here. So this was the comment last night from an unknown person on that long, perhaps overly long video. But in there he mentions a bunch of stuff that is just, again, those video YouTube cliches that I really, really, really would like to try and avoid, you know. Then right before it, there was another comment that said, oh my God, somebody buy this guy some hairspray. Actually, that's yeah. Well, you haven't know it. Today's Saturday, right? So the last stream was Thursday morning. That was just before the NHK thing. No, NHK was Thursday mornings. Well, Thursday morning, noon, afternoon. I didn't get lunch because of that broadcasting. And that was good fun. It turned out really well. I know it turned out really well. I don't know, but we had time delay issues. So the deal was the NHK thing. I know NHK asked me last week to be a commentator on an upcoming episode of Tokyo. What's the program called? They've changed the name. Tokyo Eye 2020 or Tokyo 2020 Eye. It was a program focused at the upcoming Olympics, and now that's history. So they have a program. It's not a program about me at all. Simply, I was asked to be a commentator. So I sat here at my desk with a Skype stream, and they showed some stuff and had you know, the people in the studio did some stuff, and then he said, and let's go over to Asakusa and ask our friend Dave Bull what he thinks of this trend. So they asked me what I think of this trend, and I blather. But I'm sitting here with my headphones, not headphones, what do you call them? On earbuds in, so there's no feedback. And the problem was there was a delay in the audio. So I would hear the question, I answer, but he thinks I didn't answer because it's delayed, and he interrupted. It was really, really chaos for a while, till the techs at their end got that sorted out. And the broadcast will be, it'll be the regular episode of Tokyo 2020i on November the 18th. I'll talk about it later when we get closer. But again, it's not a program about me, so it's no big deal. I was just a commentator for a few minutes in the middle of a half-hour program. I got like, whatever, 2 or 3 minutes. So it's no big deal. And they've asked me not to talk about it till the thing is scheduled. I mean, not to talk about the detail, the content of it. But it's if you go to the NHK World schedule, it's the program Tokyo 2020i, and the one I'm a tiny bit taking in will be broadcasted on November 18th. And when we get closer, we're allowed to talk about the content. But they've asked me at the moment to just, whatever, not disclose the content, of course. But I don't use earbuds normally. I don't have a phone. For music, I listen to with headphones. But they said, please, no headphones. It looks silly on the video. So I bought a little pair of, what do you call them, earbuds, And I don't have any history. So I'm sitting here talking to those guys and moving around, and one of the buds falls out because I'm moving too much. And if I've got to be able to hear these guys. So if the other one falls out, I'm in trouble. So I sort of freeze and try and chat with them. So my commentary is on fly fishing. So they've got a general page for the program. Thanks, John. The episode, I think what they do is a week or so in advance. So the episode that I'm on probably goes up on the page somewhere around November 11th or something, if I'm on. But again, no big deal. Don't stay up late for it or something, because it's nothing. It's just a normal NHK program, and it'll be on demand. And what they do is they broadcast 8 hours, 8 hours, 8 hours. So each of their programs is broadcast 3 times in a 24-hour schedule, and then it goes on demand for a couple of weeks. So there's totally no. We will have links here once it's up and running. So. But Hontoni, it's not a especially interesting one for me this time. So. No, the Hot Spring program, that was one of the Journeys in Japan programs, and they keep running that one. That's on heavy rotation. It's Journeys in Japan, and it was Kinosaki Onsen. And that was one of the better programs. It turned out quite well, and they've been playing that again and again and again. I don't get paid for replays. I got a fee for the appearance, for doing the taping that few days. And of course they pay expenses, fly you up there, put you in the onsen, feed you, that kind of stuff. But that's it. There's no residual payments. They just keep playing the program again and again. That's okay. I'm not bothered by that. It's just whatever. But as we mentioned before, there won't be any more of the Journeys programs. They've not let me go. I was never an employee, but they've stopped calling me for that program. I'm too old, actually. Too old and too male and too bearded. They want a younger female approach to that. It's awfully dark here, isn't it? Tell you what, let's put some... hang on a sec, let me put another couple of lights on. I've got a light and an umbrella. You can't see it. I don't want to move things around. There's an umbrella facing here. I'm doing some videotaping, and when this next first print goes public, we will need some video of it being made. So I've got the lights and camera set up for doing video recording yesterday and again today. So it takes a minute to warm up, so it's a bit better. You see it dark, but I don't know, for me, when I look at the screen here, the corner where I am, this camera, it seems almost totally black. I can't quite see anything here, so. Do the TV appearances bring more interest to the shop? Well, back in the days when tourists came, yeah, we would quite often get people who said that I saw you on NHK World, so it does help. I mean, the pay is Hontoni, the pay is, I don't know, what's it called, nominal. It's just, I don't know, an honorarium more than anything else. But it's fun. Mostly it's fun. I know when they used to call for that, to do one of those journeys programs, it was like 3 or 4 days. And that's my excuse to get out of here. It was a good holiday for me, a break, you know. And when we went to Kinosaki Onsen, they put me up there in the most expensive ryokan in town. I would never, ever get a chance to stay in a place like that without this sort of thing. So yeah, so I always said yes when they called, but not anymore. Actually, the light is better. You know, it's funny with that umbrella there. It's got the same function as having this glass bulb. You know, I've got the glass. I've got the glass in front of me here, which is getting really, really green these days. I don't know, end of the year we'll clean it up. The glass here spreads the light around so there's no shadows. But by putting up the big umbrella here, the same thing. The light comes from so many different directions that it also removes shadows. So. Because it's Saturday, I was going to ask, is Taran-san dropping in this morning? If Taran-san is here. Don't see him yet. Okay, if he drops by, see how he's going. He's doing some carving for us. Taran-san should be. In fact, that's probably why he's not here this morning. He is probably carving, which suits me just fine. I want to chat with him, see how it's going. I'm not so much worried about the green stuff growing into flasks because it's nearly end of year. At New Year time is when it gets thoroughly cleaned and started up again. And I sort of half follow the old traditional pattern. I take it over to the shrine, dump out the water, and rinse it using water from the shrine there. And then refill it and bring it back. And in the old days, that was the idea. It was supposed to last for a full year because you got, they don't use the word, but holy water from the shrine or temple. In reality, what it means is if you just put clear winter water in there, and of course there's no big deal, it just should be washed more often, no question about it. So. Although actually interesting, this year maybe I can't do that because over at the Sensoji temple, and they've done the same thing at Meiji Jingu, they're starting to get ready for New Year. I mean, I don't mean, they're planning. They're starting to think about how to handle New Year. And because of the pandemic thing, they don't want too many people gathering in the same place. And in a normal New Year, here at Sensoji and over at Meiji Jingu and a few other popular shrines in Tokyo, people start lining up before midnight, and for the next 2 or 3 days, it's non-stop humanity gathered together, smashed together in a small place. Wall-to-wall people for 2 or 3 days, all coming to the shrine to make their first year obeisance. And the government is sort of telling the temple secretaries, figure out how to do this year, where you don't want all these people jammed together. So at the moment, I've got no idea how it's going to turn out. One discussion that is in play, and the government has put this to the major business organizations, they've asked that instead of a normal 3-day break from work, January 1st, 2nd, 3rd, these are not legal holidays. January 1st is the legal holiday. The other ones, 2nd and 3rd, are just customary holidays. Businesses close and people enjoy time with their families for the new year. And the government this year is asking the main business organization to make this much longer, maybe even extend it to January 11th, where the next legal holiday comes. So the idea is in play that businesses, factories, whatever, would close down from December 31st or January 1st, whichever you want to look at it, right through till January 11th. I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but the idea is in play to spread the New Year holiday over a week plus instead of just 3 days. And I've got no idea how this is going to play out, but at the moment the discussion is going back and forth and back and forth. And I was chatting with the guy at the restaurant next door here. He is hoping, oh my God, yes, 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 yes. And he's just ecstatic about the idea that there would be an extended 10-day or something break. So I really don't know how it's all going to play out. The normal New Year's here is jam-packed humanity, wall to wall. If you just Google a picture, Google Asakusa Sensoji New Year, you'll see what I mean. It's wall to wall humans for days and days and days on end. And for the temple too, of course, it's revenue. All these people throw money in the baskets, and it's big money. You don't do nickels and dimes at New Year. You throw folding stuff or whatever. You've got conversation going on. Good, good, good. This kind of border here, this is touchy here. This is going to be a deep brown color. Remember, there won't be a black line here. The lines where these birds are, there won't be a black line. This will just be embossing. So you get a dark color. So this has got to finish exactly, and I mean exactly. It's got to be a sharp, clean cut just at the edge of that embossing. And I think actually we will cut it back a bit this way. I'm not going to do that now. I'm going to cut it at the moment on the line, but I'm guessing that it will need to be cut back a little bit because the embossed line won't be a sharp single thin line. It'll be sort of a V pressed into the paper. And if there's brown blurred onto one side of it, that would look strange. So my guess is that the brown will need to be cut back, maybe even up to 1/2 millimeter or something. Right now, here we are. We're on the line itself. And test printing will show what to do. Your conversation here at the moment, you're talking about Shinto, Buddhist, Catholic, etc., etc. This is one of the things that was talked about in the program, the NHK program the other day. This came up, I don't know, when they had first asked me, Dave, what do you think about this thing we're going to be talking about? And you know, in the off-camera discussions, I'd said, well, blah, 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 blah. And later on, they sent me the sample layout of the program and stuff. And in there, in the Japanese commentary from the producers was, Dave, don't go there. So I get their idea. They want to, it's a friendly program. They don't want controversial, these topics, whatever. So I laughed at it and thought, yeah, I know, they're right. There's, Up here it's not clear what to do, and down here where there's a branch, it's clear. Brown on the branch, nothing on the outside. But up here where the branches are going to be covered up with the pine needle stuff, and where the branches just come down to like it in here, where it's just a single line. So we're just putting some gray, brown tint in here. So it's not clear. This part right here, there's going to be green pine needles overlapping the branch. Someone's asking, are they a dying art? Woodblock prints a dying art? It's of not so much interest to young people these days. If you're a youngster and you're going to art university or something, to want to be in the art world and to make modern art, then for most Japanese, woodblock printing is not the genre that they would choose, because to a young Japanese person, woodblock prints are completely old-fashioned, and they're so much controlled by the derivative history on top of them. So if you're a young artist or trying to do something interesting or novel or new, then for the most part they don't choose woodblock printmaking. The other negative side from the young Japanese person's point of view too is that of course it's associated with the tourist business. If you make woodblock prints, you're just making tourist schlock or something like this. This kind of viewpoint is of course there, and it's valid. So for the most part, speaking generally, young Japanese artists don't want to work in woodblock because of the weight of the tradition is too heavy. They want to do something else. And also, they don't want to be seen really as, and I'm generalizing here, they for the most part don't want to be seen as Japanese. They want to be seen in a more international way. So someone that's interested in making prints would rather work in etchings or silkscreen or something like that, that had a more international feeling. So no, there's not much modern work being done in woodblock, although there is some, but not much. It's not really a big deal. It's much bigger now over in other countries in the West. There's lots of people all over the world, many thousands now, doing more than dabbling with this, making serious woodblock prints to be artists. So it's much more common from the overseas people's point of view, because there's an attraction of the exotic aspect, and for a Westerner, the weight of the Japanese tradition is not a heavy weight. It's something to be enjoyed and appreciated and used. So in the West, making designs and interesting stuff with this technique is becoming much more and more popular all the time. But here in Japan, it's not so much of a thing. How old was Ito-san when he passed away? I'm sorry, I don't know really. Late 80s, I believe. We can find out. If you go to shinhanga.net, I don't know how it's spelled. It might be shin-hanga.net or shinhanga.net as one word. I don't know. It's not my website. It's a bunch of research people have put a list together. If you go to shinhanga.net and look in the articles section, there's an article on that website, a printer and carver database. It was put together by Doi-san, Toshikazu Doi-san, one of our associates here. And in there, he has time and date information for many of the carvers and printers. Not Edo era level, but Ito-san is in there. I'm in there twice, once as a carver, once as a printer. But if you go to there, shinhanga.net, look for the article about carvers and printers database, look up Ito-san, and his dates are in there. I have it in mind that he was born in 1915. This could be wrong. I think 1915 is what I'm remembering, and he died in 1999. If it was December, it was 1998. If it was January, it was 1999. So from 1915. So that would have put him at 85 or 86, whatever. John's got it. Chocolate eggs. I should have a machine that flings chocolate eggs out to John. Have I faced any xenophobia during your time making prints? You mean from Japan? You mean against me? 0. Is it really 0 over 35 years? I can't remember anything. It's 0. 1916. I got it close. I got it close. So Ito-san's what, 85 or 86 or something, or 84 or whatever, when he passed away. And just the cool thing about that story, and this is either, well, it depends on your own point of view, what you think about this, I guess. You either think, wow, that is so cool, or you think, oh my God, what a life of slavery. He was working up until a few days before he died. And he died at, like we said, middle 80s, 84, 85, 86. And he was working up until, just right up until. He collapsed at his bench, took him to hospital. A few days later, he was gone. And I'm not, half of me says, yeah, that's the way to do this. And some little bird says, are you crazy? I mean, like what? Is that what life is all about? Just to slave away at your desk until you physically drop dead? I don't know. I guess both viewpoints are valid, I guess, What I knew of the guy, we were not buddies, of course. I just visited a few days. I had a lot of respect for him. He had a little moderate respect for me. We were not buddies. But when I look at it, I think, okay, if that's the way it ends up going for me, I think I'll be happy with that because I'm enjoying the work, But the opposing viewpoint is I've just been propagandized. When I was a little kid, they told me about duty and work and all this kind of stuff. And I drank the Kool-Aid. And I have just become a slave. There is this viewpoint, that life is not about work. If you're one of these people that finds meaning of life in your work, then you've been propagandized pretty heavily, I'm not telling you what I think. I'm just pointing out that there is a viewpoint like that, So when you hear the story that Ito-san died in harness at 84 years old, there's lots of different viewpoints on that story, How did I handle when Ito-san passed away? There's a story there, I'm not sure if I want to tell it, but there is a story there. There's a story there, There's the Craftsmen's Association, I'm actually no longer active in it. I think they may still consider me a member, I don't know. I haven't been to meetings now in about 5 years. But at the time these events were happening, at the time I was visiting Ito-san, and at the time Ito-san passed away, I was a nominal member of the Craftsmen's Association. They didn't share work with me, and that was part of the deal. When they let me in or when they asked me to join back in 1989 or so, the guy said, look, I know this is a work-sharing organization, but Dave, I know there's not going to be, I'm like, yeah, okay, I understand that. I'm not expecting you to give me work. I'm a beginner here. This is 1989. I just want to be able to hang out with people and chat and learn about printmaking, and I'm not expecting work. I get it. This is a work-sharing union. He said, okay, good. As long as you're okay with that, then no problem. So I joined. They gave me a little pin. They gave me the wooden thing that sticks on your workshop wall outside, So I was a, quote, member of the group. And they had a phone tree. Like any school classroom does here. The teacher has a phone tree with 5 mothers' names on it, and each mother has 5 mothers below her. So the teacher makes 5 phone calls, then the mothers phone everybody else. And the Craftsmen's Guild has a similar phone tree in place. And they had put my name, because I was a member, they'd put my name on the phone tree. And this is not like a classroom, this is a group of old men, woodblock prints. So the messages that were coming were just 3 or 4 a year. It was, there's going to be the annual general meeting is next Thursday. The autumn boat ride with hostesses is coming up 2 weeks. Please get your application in, this kind of stuff. And then the phone tree jumped into action when there was a funeral. Because of course, whenever there's a funeral happening in the group, the phone tree jumps into action and people go to the funeral. Anyway, I'm on this tree. But the guy who was above me, I must have been at the bottom of one of these rows, and the guy who was above me, anyway, long story short, Ito-san passed away about 1 week after we saw him on TV, making a TV program. And the guy above me in the phone tree didn't call me. So I didn't actually hear the news that Ito-san passed away at the time. I didn't go to the little, when I say funeral, it was whatever. It's, how it is in Japan. It's a viewing sort of a thing, whatever. You just pay your respects. You take some money for the family to help for expenses. And there you are. They didn't call me. So I didn't go. I didn't even know anything about this. I'm just working at home, blah, 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 blah. A couple of weeks after this is the yearly New Year's get-together for having a drink and having a dinner for the first get-together of the New Year. And I had received a postcard about this weeks in advance. I'd sent in the postcard, yeah, I'll be there. Book a dinner for me, whatever. So I show up there, and this is about, 2 weeks after Ito-san's funeral. And I show up there and sit down and put my bag and take my seat and chat with people, blah, 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 blah. And then one guy says, didn't see you last week, I'm like, what do you mean didn't see me last week? Whatever. I'm saying, at Ito-san's funeral. And I'm like, what? And then Masasaki-san came over. He's the printer, the guy who had been with me to go. And he says, I didn't see you last week. I said, nobody fucking told me anything about this. And I was really, really, really upset. So I left my dinner, picked up my bags, and just left. Went home. Just left my dinner, whatever. I can't sit there with those guys like that. And Matsaki-san phoned. A few days later, he phoned and said, look, I chatted with Mr. X, the guy who's above you in the phone tree. And he says, he can't speak English and whatever, blah, blah, blah. So he says, please don't misunderstand. This wasn't any attempt to try and keep you out of here. It was just somebody screwed up. And I'm like, yeah, really. And it does seem actually, the guy who was supposed to have called me just simply thought they wouldn't be interested in this, so he just passed. And as it turned out, I would have been interested in that. And he made a big mistake there. But the funny thing is that after that, I got phone calls for every single thing, somebody sneezed. I phone Dave and tell him about it, whatever. And every few days the phone rings. It's this guy, and he's telling me about stuff that I don't even know or care about. There's been an adjustment made to the finances, and we're going to ask everybody to pay an extra 20 yen or something like this, So he'd been given the word, make sure you tell Dave everything that's going on, so. But yeah, so I missed Ito-san's funeral. But the upside is because once I heard about this, of course, right away, the next morning, I went to the stationery store, got the envelope here, some condolence money, had somebody near me write in nice Japanese, and I went and knocked on the door. And his daughter was there, and his wife was there. They let me in, and I apologized. I didn't say because somebody didn't tell me. You don't do that. You don't blame anybody else. But I apologized for not being there. left the money, and the daughter left us alone. She gave us tea, and I sat there chatting with his wife, his widow, for a couple of hours, and we had one of the most interesting. I say the word interesting. My God, we had one of the. I cried. She's just what if I? There's things I can never ever talk about publicly. She told me a huge. She just started telling stories about the war and about all kinds of stuff and about him. And her Japanese was a bit of old-fashioned Japanese. This is still early days for me in Japan. And some of it I understood, some of it I didn't understand, but through the emotion and stuff. And one of the most incredible experiences of my life, actually. And it came about because they hadn't told me about this. So. And the war stories, my God, the war stories. These are people who lived that stuff, For people like me, when I grew up, I was born in 1951. So when I grew up, it was the era of war movies. It was all about the Krauts and the Nips, and then the Americans were the good guys and all that kind of stuff. So whatever. Every society does this. So I grew up with heroic war stories of the Second World War and stuff like that. And I remember there was even a book on our bookshelf at home. It was a Reader's Digest Compendium, Secrets and Stories of the War. And it was about heroes and all that kind of stuff and whatever. And yet, when I did come to Japan, first came to Japan, there was people there, and this is one such lady, and she was a young mother at that time. And these people had lived through that, I guess they're pretty much gone now. But wow. And she wasn't telling stories in the way of, you horrible foreigners did these horrible things to us. She was just, there was no blame, no nothing. Just, she talked to me about stuff about her life with that carver, and anyway. Okay, I think, if I haven't missed something here, I think we have now cut the edges of all of this tree zone. Regular viewers of this stream know what that means next. They know what that means next. What time is it now? It's 8:52. Okay, we are going to have about a 10-minute interlude here. We're going to visit the Persuader. Do I have any of Ito-san's tools with you at the shop anymore, or are they somewhere else? These small, delicate tools he gave me are carefully preserved in a box upstairs. Actually, 2 of them at the moment are missing. Aoyama-san took 2 of them for studying and measuring, and he'd better get them back to me soon, or he's fired. The tool project, it's coming along. More samples arrived yesterday. The tool project, it's coming. There's too many stories here. One of the things about the tool project is we're having to decide, where's the light? We're having to decide about the shape on the back end of the main carving knife. Now, when you buy a generic carving knife somewhere out there, it doesn't look flat. The generic carving knives have basically a half round shape. The thing is rounded off. None of the professionals in town here use them when they're rounded off. You slice it or hack it or do whatever you want. I just hacked it so that it fits. It's a bit of an angle. It fits my thumb when it goes on top, but that's my hand. Ouch. So the idea is we're going to make them a bit long so people can slice them off. And I'm like, Aoyama-san, nobody's actually going to do that. They're going to pick it up out of the box and they're going to use it, the same as I did for the first 10 or 15 years before it. He said, no, we'll give them some instructions. Measure your hand, measure your fingers, do this, slice it off, and then use it. So we're trying to decide what to do, whether to pre-slice it, not slice it, leave it round, make them too long. If we make them too long, the people that don't slice it are going to be having trouble using it. We're really trying to decide what to do with the back end. Anyway, I shouldn't get sidetracked by this. What to say? Ito-san's tools. So Ito-san's tools, the ones he gave me are mostly upstairs, but there is one that she gave me that I am using, and I will be using in a few minutes right now. The Soai Nomi chisel. It's a 24 millimeter wide chisel, and it wasn't something he'd used all his life, because the one he'd used all his life was worn out, and this must have been fairly new for him. Well, 5-10 years or something, I don't know. Anyway, it's here now, and you'll be seeing it in a few minutes. Okay. Right, we are going to get noisy a little bit. There is a compressor on the audio here. There's a compressor on the audio, but it still may be noisy. If you've got headphones on, be careful for the next couple of minutes here. Oh, John's talking about this. So, exactly. Great minds think alike. Sorry, John, am I interfering with your job? So... Oh, earthquake time. Soka. Thank you for reminding me. Okay, I'll move the camera back. Yes. Okay, the camera's isolated from the bench. I think we're okay. I think we're good to go. All right, see you in a few minutes. See you in a few minutes here. Oh, one thing I forgot. I was going to do this. While I'm doing this work where I can't talk at the same thing, let me drop a link in for you. I mentioned at the beginning of this stream that I missed on an auction the other day, and it was so much fun. Let me show you the link. And the more I see this now, the more I'm regretting that I didn't bid more for this thing. But things are what they are. Ah, おはようございます。あ、ありがとうございます。どうも、青梅からですね。はい、ありがとうございます。どうも。Thank you. はい、どうも。There's the link. Scroll down. I backed out. When it got to $200, I backed away. And I'm now starting to regret that, but whatever. this is an expensive Twitch channel? What? Okay, noisier now. This is heavy chisel here. No earthquakes, okay? Okay, let's switch gears here. This part of the process, obviously now, it's to do the whole block this way. Chisel close, chisel wide, chisel around. The next step should be to do the whole thing, but that's going to take another half hour or so. We don't have that much time, so there's no point to me just banging, banging, banging on stream. I can do that off stream. So let's switch back to the close-up, to the clearing side here. put away the noisy tools for a minute. So the tiny recap here, the clearing process, we've talked about this many, many times. It's a 3-stage process. Stage number 1, which you've seen me do over the past few minutes, was cut with the knife the actual outline of the color areas. We're leaving the pink, taking the white. Stage 1, cut the outlines. Stage 2, clear as much of the waste as possible. As I said, stage 2, I should have gone through all of this, grung. That's stage 2. Stage 3 then is clean up this thing and get right up to the lines and finish her off. So even though we haven't totally finished stage 2, we're going to pause that for a minute and move ahead so we can see stage 3. We've only got 10 minutes or so left here this morning. This will give a better overview of the process. This part down here, nothing will print down here, of course, but clearing this away is not just cosmetic. If you leave too much roughness down here, then when we are brushing pigment over this, pigment catches on the rough areas, and then more pigment catches on that pigment, and it starts to build up like a coral reef. It builds up and up and up and up, higher, till at some point it starts to make marks on the back of your paper. So before we start printing, the bottom areas of these oceans, this is the land area and the oceans, the bottom areas of the oceans should be without extra roughness. Has there been questions? No idea. My mother's on the way. Goodbye. Sherry's coming to visit. Okay, tea and cakes. Bye, Mom. Thanks. Crunch. Nice crunchy block, crispy. Doing this job, this reminds me, when I was speaking to Ito-san's widow that day, one of the things she was chatting about was she mentioned the time back in the 1960s when the first Olympics came to Tokyo. The Japanese yen was still very, very weak in currency-wise. So the guests who came to Tokyo for the Olympics, the foreigners, if they came like with their dollars or pounds or Deutschmarks or whatever, they were actually doing really, really well because the exchange rate back then, the Japanese yen, it was still coming out of being a third world country. So stuff like Japanese crafts, things that were made in Japan, woodblock prints and whatever, were really, really, really cheap for the visitors. So of course the visitors come for the Tokyo Olympics and they want Japanese souvenirs, and ukiyo-e was one of the major souvenirs. So there was a huge ukiyo-e boom, and all of the guys in that Craftsmen's Association, the older guys anyway, the association I mentioned a while ago, all the old guys, they'd get a bit of drink in them and they'd, oh, you should have been here. It was, oh my God. So the 1960s up to the Olympics and after, there was an ukiyo-e boom. A massive, massive, massive boom. A lot of this stuff, it comes up on Yahoo auctions now, of course, the stuff that was made there. So they talk about this, and she told me a story about this, that because there was so much demand, so all the craftsmen are roping in their family members to help. I heard this from Matsuzaki-san. His wife used to help with the printing some of the easier colors. And with Ito-san, his wife used to help me. Now, he never told me this. It's a story that she told me. And this was her job. Not the big hammer stuff. He would do the cutting, stage 1. He would do stage 2. Bang, 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 bang. And then bang, over to her while he gets busy with the next block. And her job then was to use the ice ski chisels to come up like this, to come up to the edge and clear away this last little bit. So he must have given her, like a training session, whatever, go for it. Anybody can learn how to do this in a few minutes. So she starts doing this. And, like anybody can do this. This is not, it's 15 years of practice and training to do this. But the problem is, those of you people who are not so experienced at it, you can do just what I gestured and just what I showed you. You can do this easily enough, but then you put too much pressure in and you go boom, and you bump into something else. Or you put too much pressure on a thin line and the thin line cracks off. So she's telling me this, she's half crying and she's laughing through her tears that he said at some point, look, just forget it. I'm spending so much time repairing your mistakes that we're not saving anything here, And she had tried to help, but a little bit too much pressure, pop, there's a mark on a line, and he has to come back and give it and cut a hole and put a piece of wood in it, fix it and give it back to her. So she half laughs and half cries and tells me about this, And she's, trying to help the family and trying to help things going on and trying to be good at this and, whatever, so. And for me too, this part of the job, it was chronically difficult. It looks so simple, but the same thing, if you put just a bit too much pressure in, or if you don't sharpen it well, if it's too dull, you're trying to move and you go pop and you run into something else. And using this tool, you better get good at making repairs. Part of what I'm doing here, I pin this. My finger is pinning this to the block. So even if this gets a bit tight, it doesn't jump ahead. The maximum it moves here is a couple of millimeters at a time. There's lots of areas too where the wood grain just doesn't work. You're trying to move. I'm actually going against the wood grain here. The wood grain wants to come this way, but I can't come that way because you're carving into the piece you're leaving. I've got to carve away from the piece I'm leaving, but it's against the grain. And the only way to do that is downward pressure. You push. I'm pushing down on this thing so that it acts like a plane sliding across the top of the wood. This isn't really a chisel. It's a miniature plane. It's time, 9:15 to show, 9:15. Let's move on, next step. We have 15 minutes left. We have a what's the word? Not a dearth of show and tell. What's the opposite of dearth? We have an excess of show and tell here today. Okay, what to show? We have 3 packages. 2 of them came from subsequent auctions from the same person. These are interesting, mildly so. This is a glorious. Let's just look at this. Let's just look at this. We'll save the mildly interesting stuff for the next time. Go for the goodies. Go for the goodies. Plethora, glut, whatever, an abundance. Okay. This is old. It's, and I think there's a date inside, I'm not quite sure. I bought a bunch of similar stuff. It all came in a bigger package. There's tons of it upstairs now. It'll last enough show and tell for weeks and weeks and weeks. And the stuff that's upstairs, it's early Taisho. Taisho 3, 4, 5 seems to be this group. And these are, you can perhaps see by the shape here, these are Senshafda groups. And they're from early Taisho. And this says Tokaido. It's been opened and folded so many times it's broken. It's a printed envelope for this thing, and it says Tokaido Meibutsu Kyoku Shu. Kyoku. This is interesting. This is mixing 2 kinds of poetry. There's kyoka poetry, which is sort of satirical joke poetry, and there's haiku, which is, as we all know, the poetry that riffs off on flowers and seasons. And this is Shu collection. So Tokaido, this is the famous road. Meibutsu, famous things. And there's obviously poetry here. And Kyoku, again, I know kyoka, satirical poetry, and ku, haiku, lyrical poetry, alliterative poetry. Kyoku, sarcastic poetry, I guess, I'm not sure. Joke, haiku, is that it? Somebody else look it up for me, please. Kyoku. It would be in English, it would be Kyoku, kyoku. I'm not sure if that's a real word or if these guys made it up, I'm sorry. I know kyoka and I know haiku. This is a combination. Anyway, Tokaido Meibutsu Kyoku Shu. And it's unfortunate, it's a broken set. It's 28 prints, and the Tokaido is 55 stations, so this is a broken set. One day we'll get the rest, probably never, doesn't matter. They're beautiful, beautiful prints. And I had a quick look at just the front one of these last night. I haven't been through the stack. And these are made so beautifully. There's good printmaking and there's good printmaking, and this is good printmaking. These are incredibly well made. And they're incredibly well made. No, it's not kyoka. That's what I'm saying. Kyoka is the one I know. It's the same kyo. It's the same kyo, and then ka is uta, song, kyoka. So that's the word, sort of a sarcastic joke poetry. And then there's haiku. So they've taken the first character from kyoka and the second character from haiku and put them together, kyoku. So there's poetry here, and it must be sarcastic, alliterative poetry. Someone's got it here. Kyoku, kind of comic haiku. There you go. I don't know how popular it is. I've never heard the word myself at all. I'm sorry. Anyway, the prince. This is, as I said, it's Tokaido. Tokaido Goju Sansuki. And it's a meibutsu. Each one is showing something, a product famous. This is Nihonbashi. And in those days, the fish market was in Nihonbashi, so we see a fish. But the quality of the production here. There are senshafter from any group. I'm embarrassed. We're making our Patreon chibis, which are made on this same kind of format. And I'm embarrassed now because our prints are so bad. This is just so well done. What can I say? English words. It's just so well done. This is a casual set of collector's prints. Some group would have got together and said, hey, let's all throw some money into a pot. Let's have a designer design this. Let's have a workshop make these for us. And they would have got this, and when all the money was in, it goes to the workshop, the prints come back, the 55 prints would be put in an envelope and distributed to the members. It was a collector's, where the collectors commissioned the work, and then they received it for their own collection. And far and away, most of the ones we see here, the envelopes are gone. This is really, really rare. The envelopes are gone, and they glue them and stick them in albums. And this is an untouched, beautiful set, but unfortunately there's only 28 prints, and there's 55 in the Tokaido. So I guess half of them must be gone. It's too bad. I'm not going to complain, but the quality, the printing and carving quality, the calligraphy, there's no way I can read it, I'm sorry. Even in normal Japanese, if I had somebody visiting here, if I stopped the delivery guy, said, "Can you read this?" he's just going to laugh. Let's step through a bunch of these. Like I said, only half of the set is here. This is number 1, Nihonbashi. So next one we're going to see is going to be Shinagawa. That's the second stage, Shinagawa. Oh wait, Kawasaki, there's 2. Wait. Shinagawa's next, Kawasaki's next. Oh! I see what they've done. It's just the front one is Nihonbashi, the rest are 2 at a time. This might be the whole set. Hang on. This says number 2, 2 stations. This is Kanagawa, Hodogaya. I gotta jump to the back. Kills it. It's the whole set. It's the whole set. I would have paid twice as much for this one. I thought it was a broken set. It's the whole thing. What they've done is the front one has 1 station, Nihonbashi. The back one, Kyoto, is 1 station. And all the rest are 2 stations each. But wait. Wait a minute. 28 sheets. So there's 26. Math, please. 26 times 2 is 52, 53, 54. There's 55 stations. They're numbered. Domo, arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you. That's from Kubota-san, the printer. He's delivering some Hizakurige. That's Tokaido. Wait a minute. Do the math for me, please. From number 2 up to number 27 seems to have 2 stations each. 2 times 26 is 52 to show. And then 53, 54. There's 55 prints in a set. It's 53 stations. They call it Tokaido Goju Sansuki. 53 stations with the opening for Tokyo and the closing at Kyoto. Something doesn't add up here. There's one missing. No, I mean, five, 10, 15, 20, 25, 28. There's 28 sheets of paper. They're numbered up to 28, but they don't. So we just have to look at all. So somebody got it. There must be a triple. There must be a triple in here. I'm already running out of time. Let's flip through these. What's the best way to put them in front of the camera? Is that a good way here? The numbering is in the bottom corner here, sheet number 2. This is, I'm not going to be able, some of these, I'm not going to be able to read all these, I'm sorry. Somebody get a Tokaido list. Google up Tokaido 53 and get the Wikipedia page ready with the list of stations, please. Because I don't remember them all. Check them off here. Find a list. Has somebody got it? Yes. Okay, Shinagawa, Kawasaki. We're going to ignore the prints. They're so beautifully made. My God, they're so beautifully made. This is Kanagawa, and this is Hodogaya. There's embossing, there's karazuri on here. These are so beautiful. We have Totsuka, and we have Fujisawa. That doesn't look like Sawa. That looks like Fuji. What's after Totsuka? No, wait. Hodogaya. We had Hodogaya. This is Totsuka. This seems to say Fujisawa. Are we online? Fujisawa's next. Hi, okay. What's after Fujisawa? That's Oiso. And this is after Fujisawa, before Oiso. Hiratsuka, that doesn't look like Hiratsuka. Oh, that looks like Tsuka, but this doesn't look, it's old kanji here. We're stretching what I can read here, I'm sorry. Okay, let's assume that's Hiratsuka, or I would never have, well, that's Oda. Okay, it's some old kanji for hiratsuka and oiso. It's a joke. This must be from Hisakurige. He's carrying some giant stone. Oh, there's so many stories in this set. After oiso comes, this is odawara. Wait a minute. After oiso is odawara. Show? The order's mixed up. Just a minute. Just a minute. This is oiso. After oiso, I know it's odawara next. It's odawara. This is hakone. We're just putting them at random orders. After hakone comes mishima. After hakone is mishima. There it is. They've switched the order. Okay, it doesn't matter. They're just random orders. This is mishima. After mishima must be numazu. Yeah, they're upside down. Okay, so they've done it for making nice pictures. So the order is just pair. Mishima and then numazu. Well, the page number 7, sorry. And then what's next? After we have hara and we have yoshiwara. Which order I don't remember. Hara, look at the prints, they are so beautiful. These are so cleanly and neatly done. I would have paid much more for this if I had known. What's next? After hara and yoshiwara comes kambara. Kambara, yes, I can read this one. Kambara, and this is yui. Yui is usually famous mountain scenery. The calligraphy carving. Look at the size of my finger. So, somebody said they're positioning for the composition rather than ABC. What comes after Yui? I don't remember what's after Yui. Etone, what's after Yui? Etone. These are difficult to read. G. I don't know what's next. Give me some hints here. Oh, okay, tsu. This is okitsu. I get it. Okitsu. It's edo no ji ri. This is ri, the distance ri. I get it. Give me a hint and I'm good with this. Eji ri. Okitsu and eji ri. And this is fuchu. I can read this one actually. Fuchu. Oh my God, what have they done with this one? No, I'm stuck. I'm sorry. I'm stuck on that. Mariko. Okay, it's ma is hiragana. Oh, it's the same D. Okay, I get it. I wouldn't have got that in quite a while. Mariko. I get it. Mariko. This is okabe. I think that's the next one after Mariko. Okabe. I don't remember what's next. Fuji Eda. Yes, I can see it. That's Fuji Eda. The printing is so beautiful. So we're seeing 2 up, 2 up. We need 1 to be 3 to show. That looks like Shibama something. Shimada and Kanaya. This is Kanaya. Look at the color. Okay, wait a minute. Look at this. Look at the gradation. What color is that? Is that gray? Is that purple? Look at the nuance of color here. Shimada and Kanaya. This is Nisaka. Nisaka and something Gawa. I can't read that for the life of me. I can't read that. After Nisaka, Kakegawa. I would not have read that. Beautiful gradation. This is Fukuroi. I can read that. That's normal modern kanji that we're still using these days. Fukuroi. And then, no, I don't know this. I'm sorry. After Fukuroi, Mitsuke. Maybe that's mi. I can see. Okay, that would be like mi, miru. This tsuke. I don't know this kanji. Mitsuke. Okay, so we're still online. We haven't skipped any. This is Mitsuke. This is Fujieda? No. No. This is Hamamatsu. Easy. Hamamatsu. Matsu. Hamamatsu. And after hamamatsu is maisaka. Saka, not eda. I would never have read that one. Maisaka. I want to look at the prints. The prints are just to die for. The prints are to die for. And now we're coming up. We've just crossed the Hamatsu. So this is Arai. I don't know that kanji, but this is I. And this is the one I never can remember. So, Shiraska. Thank you very much. This is Ska. Shira, I wouldn't have known. Shiraska. So we're still on track. We haven't missed any. But we need a triple. This is Futsukawa. How do they pronounce it? Futsukawa, Nikawa, Futsukawa. Futagawa. Two rivers. Futagawa. And then this is hiragana Yoshida. This is Goyu, the famous Tokaido one where with a long street going down, the waitresses are grabbing. And this is Akasaka. This is modern kanji, the same. So Goyu and Akasaka. We're still on track. Where's the triple? After Akasaka is something Kawa. I don't read this one. Sorry, you're going to have to give me Fuji. It's Fujikawa. Should have been readable. And then Okazaki. That's where David Stones lives, my friend David Stones. This is Chiryu, the horse market. We can guess this. And then between Okazaki, next one is Chiryu, de show. And then after that is Narumi. The next two should be easy. Miya. There's a daikon and a knife. It says daikon kogatana, small carving knife. And this is something with me. I can't remember the name. I'm sorry. Kuwana me kuwana. So we're in trouble here. Actually, we are going to be missing a station. Have they left one out? Is that what's happened here? This is Yokkaichi, the famous market there, and this is Ishi something shi. Ishi. Give me a hint. Ishiyakushi. Too much sake. He's dancing. The pictures. We have got to get these. I will prioritize. Next time the staff is here to take pictures, we will prioritize these and get these in the collection straight away. These are too good to ignore. What's next? Kameyama and Shono. This is Shono, the famous one in Hiroshike's design with all the famous rain. Shono and Kameyama. Sakanoshita. This is supposed to be the most famous place where they have called Fudesteyama, the mountain where you throw away your brush. And this is Seki, the famous barrier at Seki. We're on track here. What is that thing? Oh, off camera a little bit. Sorry. Migrating. Go a minute. Sorry about that. Excuse me. What is that thing you're asking about? This is a bento box. It's a wooden box with rice in the bottom with slices of fish, and they press this down on the top to make it all flat. It's a box for making sushi. After Seki comes, I don't remember, this is I forget the pronunciation. The kanji is Mizu and Kuchi, but it's Minakuchi. And Tsuchi, soil, Yama, Tsuchiyama, another nice rain scene. So weird, they're all here, but they can't. This is Otsu. I'm stuck on this one, I'm sorry. Ishibe. This is Ishibe. Otsu. We're home. Kyoto. Wait. Missing. No, Saka. Tsuchiyama, Minakuchi, Ishibe, Otsu. They skipped there. They're drying kampyo. They're drying here. This is kampyo. It's a gourd. They slice it into a strip, like when your mother's making apple pie and she peels all the peel off an apple in one piece and gives it to the kids. That's what that's like. This is kampyo gourds drying. It's famous for that place. We've skipped one. They have missed Kusatsu. How would you feel if you lived there? Okay, think about this now. Wait a minute. Think about how these were made. These are not printed one by one. These are printed in groups. They've got a larger piece of paper with 1, 2 of them, or 3 of them, or 4 of them. They decided to do 28. If they had wanted to catch everything, there's 28. So that means there are 14 in a group. No, that's too many. There's 7 in a group. You can't print 7, 4, and 3. You couldn't print 7 all in one line. Couldn't be 4 each. 28. Oh yeah, could be 4 each. 28. 4 groups of 7. So that's maybe how they were made. They were figuring out how to make this set. They could have done something like this. Oh, they would have done it right to left. They would have done it. Maybe the designs were laid out 4 on one sheet of paper like this, in which case these cut lines should match. No, it doesn't match. That's wobbly. It's a gap. That's not how. Or if this wasn't cut from the same piece, also that doesn't match. How were they printed? 2 each, maybe. No, that doesn't match. Lots and lots and lots of mysteries here. Look at the bottom of the last page. What have I missed? John is saying. Look at the bottom of the last page. The Kyoto. No, it's Kyo. This is Kyo. The last page is a one-shot. The top scenery is Kyoto, and the bottom one says Kyo. There is no kusatsu hidden here. This is sheet number 28. That says Kyo, and that scenery is the famous Daimonji in Kyoto. And there's the title page has been replaced. They simply missed kusatsu. It's not there. Yeah, no, it looked like it was an idea. That could have been Kyoto at the top and it could have been kusatsu at the bottom. I think if I was designing this system, that's what I would have done. Is that supposed to represent kusatsu? No. Because Otsu is the one before Kyoto. If they were going to do kusatsu, it would have been here, and then Otsu would have been here. Anyway, wonderful, wonderful. This is one of the best things I have. This is a birthday present. This is a birthday present for me. Absolutely fantastic. This is one of the best, most beautifully made sets of prints we have got in our collection. Bar none. Bar none. Bar none. This is going to be online quite soon. It can't be today. I've got a FedEx box to ship today. It's going to be, it's not my birthday today. I'm on the 11th. Actually, next stream to show. No, wait. Today's Saturday. My birthday is the 11th. So it's not a stream day. Did I mention the next birthday coming up? It's Roku. I live in Roku-ku, 6th district. And my next birthday is Roku, 6-9. How old would these be? Okay, there is no date. I didn't see a date anywhere. The other stuff that we bought this with together, and it was all bound together in a bunch of collection. The other stuff was dated Taisho 3, Taisho 4, Taisho 5. That fits with what I see here. With everything I know about the paper aging and the level of quality and every level of printing, if I was putting a number on this, I would say Taisho, whatever, pick a number, 4, Taisho 4, Taisho 5, somewhere around there. There's no other, oh, that's not a date, that's somebody's name. What a treasure, absolute treasure. Okay. Okay, guys, I will be out of here. It's Saturday morning now. I'll see you again 2 more days from now. And we will be working away on those color blocks. I will be finished the brown one by then, so I will be working on the next color block. I think that's it. That's all to report, I think. Okay, guys, thanks very much. I will see you 2 days from now, minus 90 minutes. Thanks for watching. I am so happy about this. I'm sorry if there hasn't been enough actual work here today, but anyway, whatever. good choice. Okay, see you on Monday morning. Thanks very much. See you next time. Bye for now. Where's the switch?